Alright, what's up guys, welcome to the video. Got the Z3 behind me, and today we are finally getting round to sorting the calipers. So for about 2 weeks now, the calipers have been sticking on like mad, and it's been doing my absolute head in. It's a right pain in the arse. It did start off just a little bit, it wasn't too bad at all, they were just rubbing a tiny bit, but it's got progressively worse and worse. I bought a refurbished kit for the calipers. Instead of buying new ones, I decided to do this because I saved myself about 60 quid altogether, and luckily my dad knows how to do it. I don't really know how to do it, but Dad's gonna help me do it. So we're gonna open up the garage, chuck the Z3 in there because it's about to rain. Yes, I do live in Wales and it's shit all the time. But yeah, hopefully it shouldn't take too long, so we're gonna walk you through what we do. If you do enjoy the video or if you find it helpful, drop a thumbs up on it, leave a comment down below, and you can subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos. Let's get on with it. Right, so we've got the pins out now. It's just a case of getting the caliper off, but it is a pain in the ass to get off because obviously it's seized on there, so it's not the easiest thing to get off. But just use a crowbar if yours is seized too and just pry it off slowly. Is there anything you can say to people to be careful with when they're taking the caliper off?
Should have clamp to stop the air getting in, but we're going to bleed the system anyway, aren't we? So
yeah.
So that's the problem. Obviously the piston's stuck inside, isn't it? It's seized.
Yeah.
So we'll do an overhaul on that now. Come on.
So I've switched lenses so you can see what we're doing a little bit better. Here is the piston that we've just pushed out. Well, I pushed out by pressing the brake to pop it out. Now we've got to get that out, and then obviously we've got the new kit that we're going to replace all the seals and everything like that in the piston. Okay, voiceover time. So to start off with, you need to get off this little piston boot. Don't worry about breaking it because you should have a new one in your kit. Then you need to pull out the piston. Now ours didn't come out completely straight, hopefully yours doesn't have the same thing, but we just ended up pulling it out. It came out eventually, but be warned, there is a lot of brake fluid that comes out with it, so just make sure you got paper towel or that you do it in a bucket or whatever. Once you've got the piston out, you need to then get out this little seal, which is just like a little O-ring. That's where the piston sits into it. You then need to loosen this. Now ours was tight, so we used a little wrench. It is a 7mm spanner, but we used a wrench to put around it just to loosen it off. Just be careful you don't round it off. Once you got that loose, then just take out these lugs, and you'll have these in your kit. Now that's all of your old components out. You get onto the cleaning part. So we firstly used a little screwdriver just to scratch around the edges of where the seal sits to get out any rust, and then we proceeded to just clean it with some hot soapy water and just repeated the process again just to make sure that where those seals sit there is no excess rust or old rust. It should be nice and clean in there, and you can just use a toothbrush or whatever to get the crap out. Then once it's clean, just use a bit of sandpaper and sand round to get rid of any old rust again, just to make sure you got a nice smooth surface so that your piston will sit nicely into it. Once it's all clean, you need to make sure you dry it. We used an air compressor just to make sure you're getting everything. You do not want any water to be left in there afterwards when you put your new components in. So now we're on to the new components. Make sure you use some rubber gloves for this because you will be dealing with a lot of grease. So you're going to also need to buy some red rubber grease with your kit. I'll put the link in the description for where I bought mine from. But to start off with, we're going to lube up the new piston seal with some of this grease, and then we're just going to proceed to put it in. It may be a bit fiddly, but you should be able to get it in. Just make sure it's well greased so that it slides nicely on the piston. Now to start with, you want to grease the piston up as well, just so that it moves nicely inside the caliper. You're then going to have this boot seal, and you want to grease that up also. Now this is where the fiddly bit comes into play. You want it to sit on the edge of this catch. Now as you can see on there, it's sat right on the end. What we did to make it a little bit easier is just put a little bit of brake fluid on the outside of the seal and the piston, just so it goes in a little bit smoother. Now here is what I mean by the fiddly bit. We used a little screwdriver just to slowly push it in, start from one end and work your way round, and we also used a little bit of brake fluid. As Dad demonstrates here, you want to keep pushing until it clicks into the seal, and then keep going again until it fully goes in, and you'll see it's very satisfying. But yeah, it'll go all the way in. Now the final thing you need to do is just put in these fresh new lugs so that when you put the pins in, that is where they sit into it. Okay, so it's back to us talking now. Hopefully that voiceover made sense. I just thought it'd be a little bit easier rather than us trying to talk over the clips. Now that's completely refurbished, all we need to do is put it back on the car and then bleed the system to get rid of the air and put obviously new brake fluid in.
Special silicone grease now that has to go in here. Stops the bushes.
This silicone grease came in the kit.
All the pins in place.
Yeah.
Just a bit of lube it is. We'll put some on the pins once we've...
Yeah, just for the pins to sit in the guide properly.
Yeah.
We're just literally putting the caliper back on the car now, and obviously putting the brake pads in. Reason we aren't changing the pads is because I'm going to be buying new discs.
Where's
and
the
pads.
grease, Fab?
It's right there in front of you.
No.
Oh.
Copper grease, not
Oh,
grease.
sorry.
You don't...
Dad, look sideways. No, look forward. Why is your hairline halfway back your head? Where's it gone? Right, so now we're going to bleed the car. You need 2 people to do this. One person sat inside the car pushing the pedal, and the other person bleeding it from the brake. While I'm in the car pushing the pedal, what are you going to be doing?
Release the bleed nipple.
Yeah.
Release the fluid so it can come through the caliper to get rid of any air.
Yeah. Because then it's pushing the air out, isn't it?
Pump it twice, hold the pedal down, release the pressure off the bleed nipple to get the air out, and all the old oil. So we're just going to replace all the oil in the front and your brakes with new fresh fluid.
Yeah, the new fluid comes in, the old fluid.
But whenever you take
out.
the caliper off, you need to make sure that you bleed it just to get rid of any air that might be trapped. So give you a good solid, firm pedal now.
Nicely said, but look at the camera, don't be rude.
No, I don't need to.
This is the boring part. This is the only time I've trained calves in about 2 years. Everything's sorted. We're now going to take it for a drive to see if it's actually worked.
That's dangerous when you come down, you can fucking eyes.
I know, I've always thought that. Okay, so we just come for a quick drive to test it out. We've already done a little spin, and so far so good. Before, I used to drive for about 5 miles-ish, and then the brakes would start to stick on, and once they stuck on properly, it was like terrible. The wheel would judder, the steering wheel I mean, it would just not go above 50, it was horrible to drive. So I stopped driving it when that happened. So far so good. The brakes are still a little bit spongy, I've got to give it a bit of time for the fluid to get around the whole system, but apart from that, seems alright. So we're going to go back home now, and yeah, that's about it. Right, let's have a look. No, not hot. Yeah, success! We're back in the garage now, we just tidied everything up. Look at this, this is the oil that came out of the car. Look how shitty that is. Right, done and dusted now. I'm going to clean the interior of my car because it is an absolute shithole in there. My battery on my camera is going to die, so I'm not going to record that for you. But I hope you have enjoyed the video. I hope it's been helpful to you. If you've got any questions, leave them down in the comment section. If you have enjoyed the video, remember to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.